I have said it for the past 6 months, for the past year. You all know I do not talk a lot of NBA during the regular season. I have said it multiple times on this show. The NBA regular season, as evident by the fact that we have 7 and 8 seeds in the conference finals this year, the NBA regular season is mostly Mickey Mouse. It doesn't matter. Load management is telling you these games don't matter. No defense, team scoring, nobody playing defense. And then you get to the postseason, defense is being played, stars are being made, stars are taking over games, superstars are becoming legends in the business. This guy, Victor Wembanyama, who, of course, Tim Duncan and David Robinson 20 years ago changed the Spurs. The Spurs, for the last 5 years, I have been very critical of their head coach, Greg Popovich. I think a lot like Bill Belichick in New England. He is rigid. He is old. He has failed to adapt to the three-point way, the sort of 3-and-D, no mid-range, freeze and layup style of modern-day NBA basketball. And when I went through about a month ago and I said, hey, in sports, this is what you need to win. My number one thing in the NBA was versatile wings. And you need a lot of stretch shooting. Victor Wembanyama is essentially Giannis Antetokounmpo at year 7 or year 8, right now in year 1 with a shot. This dude is taller than Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is, of course, about 6'11", 6'12". Victor Wembanyama is 7'5", and he has this skill set of a Giannis, a Kevin Durant, a LeBron James. As long as Victor Wembanyama stays healthy, the San Antonio Spurs are once again relevant in the NBA, one of the cornerstone franchises led by one of the greatest head coaches, once again, in the history of the sport for the last 5 years. He has been rigid to adapt, a lot like Bill Belichick, right? We don't tarnish Bill Belichick's legacy. A lot of people think he's still the best head football coach ever, though we can acknowledge he's constantly being outcoached by Mike McDaniel and Andy Reid and these clever-minded offensive coaches. A lot can be said about Greg Popovich and his style and his politics and all that, but again, one of the greatest basketball minds in the country gets to coach this guy, and the Spurs are once again relevant. I would not be surprised if by year 2 or by year 3, if this kid stays healthy, Victor Wembanyama is an MVP candidate immediately in the NBA. Right now, I would bet you the San Antonio Spurs, even in the tough Western Conference, where you got to deal with Denver, you got to deal with Phoenix, you got to deal with Memphis, you got to deal with the Lakers, you got to deal with Golden State, you got to deal with Sacramento. Dallas potentially could come back there in that picture. Minnesota is still an okay, decent team. And then obviously the Clippers, we'll see what they do. But regardless, the Spurs are once again legitimate contenders in the Western Conference. Better look out, because as long as this kid stays healthy, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. And I'm not taking anything away from Scooter Henderson, who's probably going to Charlotte with the number 2 overall pick. I think Scooter Henderson's going to be great. I don't know if he will work alongside LaMelo Ball. Brandon Miller to me is a better fit than Scooter, though I think Scooter is the better player. Sometimes about fit over player, but those guys are going to be great. But Victor Wembanyama is game-changing. If Brandon Miller is Dwayne Wade, for example, or if Brandon Miller is Carmelo Anthony, great players, right? Victor Wembanyama has the potential to go down as an all-time GOAT. I know it's a lot of pressure on him, but we've heard it about Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons had a lack of sort of character issues and lack of awareness. There was comparisons to him and LeBron. There was Zion Williamson, who cannot stay healthy at all. This kid can shoot, he can pass, he can rebound, he can jump out of the sky, he can do everything a modern-day basketball player can do. And at his height, he has point guard skills that, unlike Nikola Jokic, he can actually jump. So congratulations to San Antonio. I've said it for years. The NBA draft lottery is rigged. I said it was either going to be the Pistons or the Spurs who get Victor Wembanyama. Detroit unluckily fell down to 5, which that's not the conversation we're going to have here because, as we all know, the NBA draft lottery is unfair, and it's a way for the NBA to get cornerstone franchises back into the potential market. And when there's a number one, no doubt pick, that's usually who they go with as a cornerstone market. This year it's Victor Wembanyama, which not a lot of people saw play, not only because he was overseas in France, he did not play college basketball, which really doesn't matter at this point because the NBA is in professional leagues and G leagues in there. It's not just a college basketball draft because the NBA simply does not care about college basketball, which is why, once again, Brandon's world only talks about college basketball 1 month of the year. That month was 2 months ago, and that was March. We dive into March Madness, and I told you going into this year's March Madness, there were going to be a ton of upsets because while Alabama had the best team, led by Brandon Miller, who was easily the best player in college basketball this year, regardless of his baggage, there was not a lot of star power because the majority of star players in the NBA are G League players now or professional basketball league players. I know there's professional leagues overseas, then there's overseas players as well that are not as professional. So there's a lot of international talent. We know the NBA is the international sport. We know they don't care about college basketball, but trust me on this. If you have not seen this kid's highlights, Victor Wembanyama, go to YouTube, type in his name, sit there, and for 2 minutes, literally, you can watch a couple plays, and you will tell immediately the impact this kid, if he stays healthy, he has not had a history of injuries, knock on wood, to this date. Victor Wembanyama, potential superstar in the NBA. You like that clip from the Brand's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand's World podcast right here on YouTube.